Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from Chart Guys, checking in with the solar sector. So, starting off with our ETF 10. Some more sideways on the daily. An attempt here to confirm the bull flag by breaking out of this hourly channel today. Check it out. Okay, so this is the last, why do I have it drawn like this, though? Because of extended hours? Yes, because of extended hours. Okay, so just been watching this hourly channel to potentially give us some kind of clues for the daily bull flag, and you can see that it is kind of doing that in the sense that where there was a downward slope before and a resistance line, now we have broken out above and back tested it today. So anything over this PM low of 73.14 will be an hourly higher low. With the bulls, I don't believe are confident in this one being set yet until we check the 5-minute trend going into the end of the day. So the bulls did change the 5-minute trend going to the end of the day, but then at the last minute broke that low. So ideally what will happen tomorrow for bulls is a hold of this low here at 74.40 and a break of 75.84 in order to see some more follow through on this hourly trend, and additionally and ideally have bulls looking up at the all-time high resistance of 77.50. So this channel is really just the biggest thing that I'm watching out for. 5-minute trend change tomorrow and this potential channel. ORA. Okay, so maybe not getting down to where we'd want it. ORA also broke out of this channel, but it broke out the other day. And if let's see if we were to have redrawn it, then I suppose it can still be within this one. Let's see. So some people they don't or they are critical of redrawing channels, but I mean the way I see it is you get more data, you get more information, and while they are valid, they can still be helpful, but it's part of the reason why you don't want to make any trades based off of just that alone, right? We always want to have price action support our thesis. So for example, then if we were trading off of this previous channel, we wouldn't want to just blindly buy this support over here. We want to look to our left and make sure that there are some potential price action, and ideally we will also have like hourly extension or whatnot in order to support that thesis. So because this is an hourly channel and we're bottom fishing the lower end, ideally we'll have 5-minute oversold conditions like on this candle here when we're looking for that hourly low. So let's just double check and see what it was at that moment, and it was oversold. So that's what I'm talking about. You don't want to just be buying channel support. You don't want to just be buying in RSI. You don't want to just be buying with price action support. Ideally, you'll have all of those things come together. Now then, back to ORA. Okay, so for ORA, going into today, and Friday there was an hourly continuation. So we had this move off the low to make that lower high. We pulled back to set a higher low, broke to a higher high, set another higher low, and then broke to a higher high by just a few pennies, by just 7 cents, and then pulled back today to set a lower low compared to this hourly low and a lower high compared to that hourly high. And now the bulls ideally will have set this as the hourly higher low in order for us to be confident that they've done so. We just need to check the 5-minute time frame, which is just sideways going into the end of the day. So what bulls will want to see ideally tomorrow is a hold of this low at 72.23 and a break of 74.02 to take back the hourly trend and try to see some more daily follow through on this bounce. If let's see here, if 72.23 breaks tomorrow, that'll be a confirmed hourly downtrend to set this daily lower high here, and then would still just be looking a bit lower for the potential for the bulls to change the daily trend somewhere above 54.05. My point is, even if the bears take this trend, as long as they can take the trend back somewhere above 54.05. That would be a pretty good look. Okay. JKS seeing a lot of strength. So if you had to split them up, or rather, if you had to pick a leader to watch, I would use JKS. JKS has continues to make new highs, whereas most names are consolidating. Let's check it out on the hourly time frame. Oh right, we have a channel on this name to watch. How that trade was set up. See where it's at. That doesn't seem right. Down. We can be operating with this one now. See what it looks like on from the lower boundaries here. I rather like that. It contains a lot more price action. The previous channel, you can see, doesn't have a, and it doesn't include all this price action here. So I'm gonna stick with this one. Oops. Stick with. Okay, so I think that's probably how that channel was drawn for this trade, which was a good one. Perfect trade. Kill it. Whoops. All right, so we have tested the upper resistance line of this channel, and the bulls are now just looking for a healthy hourly higher low over 67.75. And for us to be confident that the bulls have done so, we just wanted to see a 5-minute trend change going into the end of the day. And you do get this double bottom here, this double bottom, and then this bottom breaks to new highs. So I would say that is good enough for a trend change, but you just want to be a bit more cautious because ideally we would have held a higher low over 74.53 by more than perfect test and then broke to higher highs from there. So even if the bears are to see some more downside on the hourly tomorrow, the bulls will still just be looking for a healthy higher low over 67.75, and obviously bottom fishing the lower end of the channel has been a good play. It works until it doesn't. So as long as you're doing so with some price action supports to your left. So for example, if you're bottom fishing the support here, you see this congestion area here, gives you some price action to play off of. Same thing with over here. You had some price action to the left you could play off of. Same thing over here, price action to the left. So you just want to make sure that you're not just blindly looking for these channel plays, okay? And ideally, all of these times you had 5-minute oversold conditions because these are hourly pivots. All right, so I mean that's pretty much it. Ideally, bulls would just get a strong start tomorrow, push to make some space for another hourly higher low, although I would not be surprised for this channel to continue containing price action, and whenever we were to break out of it, obviously that would be a bit of a red flag for the bulls. So let's see what I wanted to talk. So CSIQ is just channeling here doing the same thing, or rather something similar. I just want to draw that to drag it out a little bit to include that information. This is drawn off the closes in case you're wondering. So we had a double top rejection today. However, bulls are just looking for a healthy hourly higher low over 37.50. Not confident that that is set yet because the 5-minute trend did not change going into the end of the day. So we're just going to continue looking for that potential hourly higher low to develop. And you can see that it's kind of like an inverse head and shoulders, right? So the idea with channels is you expect the boundary lines to be tested. However, when you get a name that starts failing to come and test one of the sides of the channel, typically it's a good indicator of looking the other way. So that being said, if the bears were to continue pushing down tomorrow, I don't even know if I care as much as a higher low play, as much as I would just prefer bottom fishing these lows. That So ideally what the bulls will see now is this hourly downtrend, this slightly sloped channel. Instead of being down, ideally what they'll start seeing now is potentially an up channel. Right, so maybe something like that. Start developing, and then ideally we'll see it curl up. Kind of like how you chart trade parabolas with those trend lines that just go up and up and up, and then when the trend lines get broken, theoretically the parabola is done. Okay, so that looks like, yeah, just be happy with bottom fishing this range here. Okay, let's skip over to S. Do I care about SCDG? Not really. About SCDG much. So run was I would prefer to talk about run over SCDG, and the reason is because run was a leader on the way down. So we made this lower high, broke to lower lows, changed the daily trend, and now we're basing over these previous highs, this previous congestion zone. So the more that bulls can just kind of stay sideways here and put in a bunch of volume, the better. That being said, this is obviously still currently a very weak bounce. So I just highlighted in the channel today that this rejection was currently setting up the potential for an inverse head and shoulders. And so ideally what the bulls will see is a hold of this 59 low and then a break. Well, from here, ideally what they'll see is a hold of the 61.31 low and a break of 64.68 in order to change this hourly trend, have us confident that daily low is set, that this daily low, higher low is set. And then we will be bouncing to look for the first daily resistance up at 67.38 and then just this all-time high resistance of 82.37. Actually, I should, this all-time high. Okay, so the reason why I care more about run again is because it led on the way down. So just like JKS can offer us some potential clues, if it starts showing a lot like significant weakness, we can be a little bit more concerned with our ETF, for example, if we just trade the ETF. So the same can be said for run. If run starts to break to lower lows here, gets back and remains weak, then that is a bit of a red flag for ETF traders as well. Just if maybe there is a potential wedge shaping up. Only 2 touches up top for now, so don't love it yet, and only 2 touches at the bottom. So I don't love it for now, but something to watch out for. This trend line, if anything, in and of itself is something to be mindful of. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I don't love this lower boundary of the channel just because there's not a lot of data to support it. Okay, maybe this little bit of action here, but just not a lot of data yet. I care more about the trend line right now than I do about the resistance line. To me is more important than the support line. Okay, so potential inverse head and shoulder setup. We want to see some basing ideally. If it breaks down into that previous congestion zone, that's a bad look for the sector in general. And yeah, if it starts getting strong, then that's probably a good look. So I would imagine that if run starts getting strong, I imagine JKS would stay strong as well. And then TAN has more of a chance to see some more upside out of this potential daily bull flag. Okay, that is the solar sector. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you soon.